Let's start.
So I've done this slideshow. I watched tons of the Meet the Mentor videos on Mastrius over the last couple of weeks. And the one thing that I was really craving is seeing people's work and seeing them in action. And I think that's because I'm a visual person, and I assume that everyone that's here and watching this is a visual person too. So I have tons of slides and images and a background of where I've come from. So this is to prove that I do the work. There's photos of me doing the work. It's not that I really enjoy lots of photos of myself up next. So I thought I'd talk about what kind of work I do now and what I enjoy to teach and mentor around. And then I would show you a little bit of my background and where I've come from. So I'm working full-time as an artist now. I'm based on the Sunshine Coast in Australia, and I spend a lot of my time painting murals. So I'm pretty sure it's ever getting really, really popular all around the world, but murals, ever since COVID, are booming. So I've been painting murals for about 15 years now, all around the world, but it is probably the largest chunk of my income at the moment, which is fantastic. I also paint canvas works, and most artistic introverts really enjoy being in my studio, quietly listening to music and painting work. And my style is very colourful and emotive, with a really controlled stencil style over the top. So it's almost like two contrasting elements. And then, of course, I love, and my favorite thing to do ever is running workshops and mentoring and coaching other people. So I run a lot of workshops in schools, which is where I just came from now. And I also mentor other artists as well. Next slide. So my background is in graphic design. So I popped out of high school and went and studied graphic design at university, which I'm sure a lot of creatives and artists have been. It's a good stepping stone to start from. So I worked as a graphic designer. I'm still doing a little bit of graphic design work as well, but I've been working as a graphic designer for over 20 years now. And I was really fortunate to study part of my degree at the Edinburgh College of Art in Scotland, and the other part of my degree was at the Queensland College of Art in Brisbane, Australia. So it was a nice mix there. Next slide, please. After a few years of, that was my street back there. I'm trying to, if you go back up there, there's a dirt road on the side. This is going to be great for them to edit for Mastrius. So after a few years of working in Brisbane after graduating, I got offered a job in China. So I moved to China and ended up staying there for 3 years and working as a graphic designer there. And we started up an art studio with a couple of friends. And that's when I really started to get into my artworks. So these are a couple of my first artworks that I had displayed in an exhibition down there. And that's outside the studio, that photograph that we took there. Next slide, please. The first murals that I ever painted were in China. So my first job that I ever had was actually 8 murals across 2 levels of a business. So that's a pretty epic first job to do. Does anyone mind if we pause it here just for a second so I can exit the taxi and move somewhere that's less bumpy?
Go ahead.
Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for understanding. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
Oh, now I'm tangled. It's going to be a little bit Blair Witch Project while I move from the cab to the house.
That's okay.
We haven't had this before on a meet.
It's like an adventure, isn't it?
Yeah.
We were driving through my suburb before, Nambour, and I have about 6 murals through Nambour. And I was like, maybe I should just do the Nambour, art trail of Sarah through the suburb as part of the show.
That would have worked.
Yeah, although I was getting a little bit car sick. So, and also I don't have my keys. I locked them in the house, so we just have to find it.
It's okay.
Normally I'm very organized.
It's crazy to see that it's like sunny and nice over there and so dark here and raining.
Oh, really? What time is it there?
7.
Oh gosh, and rainy. Oh, you poor things.
Well,
Sunshine Coast.
I'm in BC. It's not raining.
Oh,
It's
no?
not raining in Saskatchewan either.
It's
Oh,
an hour.
is it
What
cold
time
there?
are you at, Leanne? Are you the same
It's
time as
7 here
Calgary?
too right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm an hour earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we ready to reconvene?
Yay.
Thanks so much for understanding. So this is my first. Oh my goodness. I tell you what, Maya, all the technical things are going to get easier from here.
Yes, I know.
Good attitude.
I already deal with some of these ones before, so I'm good.
Oh, thank
We're
goodness for you.
We all deal with some
Yeah.
technical difficulties because Zoom it always does it.
So
Awesome.
after spending 3 years living in China and working as a graphic designer and partially working as an artist, I decided to take a year off and head to San Diego and just spent the year painting and surfing and not much more. Next slide, please. And then you can probably flick through the next couple of slides just slowly, Maya. So over this time, I developed my style a bit. I moved back to Australia and thought that I should probably grow up like the rest of my friends, which has never really happened. But when I moved back to Australia, my partner and I had our baby, and I used that time in Australia here. We can get up to 12 months maternity leave. So I used that time to really build my business. And so since then, since 2015, I've been working full time as a practicing artist. So if you just pause there for the moment, Maya. So over the time that work's developed, this mural here was done for one of the banks over here, and it's a multi-layer stencil. So that girl that you can see in the background is actually a 5-layer stencil.
Oh.
And then we've got some butterflies in the background there that are 2 layers, the purple, and then I've added an augmented reality over the top of it. So when you view it through a phone, all those little butterflies that you see over the top are animated and they fly out from the mural. And then, of course, my crazy family there on the left. So next slide, please, Maya. And I do a lot of travel as well. So this is a rural mural that I did in collaboration with another artist. So one of my favorite things to do is collaborate. You know, I'm sure a lot of you are the same, where you're working in your studio by yourself a lot of the time, and it gets to the point where you're kind of like you were saying before, Maya, you're like, is this good? Am I doing what? Something's not right. What? And there's no one there to ask. And that's why we're all here, right? Is so that we've got other people to connect with and learn from and be mentored by. And so collaboration is my favorite. Next slide, please, Maya. And then obviously running a business and doing this full time is really tough. So I've spent a lot of time in the last couple of years researching and practicing and experimenting with, you know, how to run a successful arts business. Because when you're at university, I'm not sure what it's like in Canada or the States, but in Australia, they don't teach you how to run a business. It's, you know, here's your creative degree, see you later, but nothing about how to manage money or content develop or anything like that. So next slide, please, Maya. You can flick through the next couple of slides every like 20 seconds or so. So a couple of the projects that I just wanted to quickly talk about are ones that I really, really enjoyed, and I'm hoping that you'll enjoy hearing about them. And I did a lot of work for Micro Galleries, which is a global organization, and they go into low socioeconomic areas and work with the artists there and work with the community there and join international artists with those communities. So this is the first time I ran a project called Women on Wall, and I worked with the community to figure out what voice those women wanted, and we worked together to create a design that was put up onto the wall, and then the women came out and painted it. So this was the first one that was run. The project was started by another Australian artist, and then I took over at the end because she couldn't be on the ground. We then ran the same project again in Nepal a few years later. Here's another proof that I do the work.
A proof photo. Yes, look at me spray. So we ran Women on Wall again in Kathmandu in Nepal in 2018. And I spent 3 months working with the women in the community, obviously via Zoom, and with a translator, to figure out what voice they wanted to have in that community. And generally in the spaces that I work in, women don't tend to be heard as loud as the men are. So this is really, really important. If you want to flick through a few slides there, Maya. While I was there, I did a paste up as well. It was a smaller project on the side because I knew that Women on Wall will take up my time. But this paste up ended up being 2 by 2 meters when it was installed. But when I created it, it was just on an A2 sheet of paper that I'd done by hand and scanned in, printed out and glued up onto the wall, which is a really effective way to get murals done when you're a bit nervous about them for the first time. And then this is the Women on Wall project that we did in Kathmandu. So they wanted to talk about the water and the urbanization of Kathmandu and how they used to have water fountains. Just pause there for a moment, Maya. And they wanted to talk about how a lot of their time was spent collecting water, and a lot of that was wasted because all the water sources they had dried up in town, so they had to go so far to collect it. So that was a fantastic project, and we're looking at running another one in Thailand next year in February. As I mentioned before, super passionate about supporting other artists, particularly in the street art field, because I feel like being an artist it can be a really mentally tough job. There's a lot of imposter syndrome, particularly for women. And then to scale that up into mural size, also there's a whole other level, because you're not just got that imposter in your head saying, oh my goodness, what are you doing? You can't do this. It's too big. It's too hard. You're not good enough. And not only do you have to deal with that, but you've got to deal with it in public with people watching you and people commenting on you and your art. So I really enjoy empowering other women to be able to do this as well. Next slide, please, Maya. That's not to say I don't work with men. I do. I thought I'd give you a little shot of where I'm working, because I knew that this would be recorded at home, not in the cab, just at home. But I work from a shipping container that I converted into a studio that's dropped on my father-in-law's property. Don't worry, it's air conditioned. That's the first question everyone asks. And that's my son in the background. That was school holidays. You can tell the exhaustion in my eyes. Next slide, please, Maya. So I thought when I look for people to mentor me or to coach me or to support me as a professional, one of the things that I always like to look for is if our values align. So I thought I would just put in my values and what I aim for, not only in my life, but in my business. So one of the really important things to me is education. When I was going through university and high school, there was no education around street art, spray paint, stencils, urban art, public art. None of that was available. There was no one to teach you. There was no way to learn. So I fumbled my way through most of my career. And I've gotten to a point where I have a really broad range of understanding because I've worked hard to get that. And I feel like it's up to me to share that with as many people as I can. For anyone that wants to learn, I'm extremely transparent. I will talk about anything. I love talking about money. I don't think anyone else does though, but anyway. I also empowerment. Like, I love empowering other people, particularly women. Be good, do good. I believe in karma, so that's a good one. Bringing joy. One thing I love about being an artist is I have never handed over a mural to a client or delivered a painting to a client or run a workshop with a client and anyone's been like, this is boring. Everyone is filled with joy. Every time you gift them or hand over that artwork, it's just a joyous moment. When they hang it, they're filled with joy and they send you photos. When they see their mural, they're filled with joy. So the whole process is joy, which I love. be kind. Again, that's going back to karma, and be creative. I feel like a lot of creatives, it's in their heart and soul to constantly create. Next slide, please, Maya. The other thing that I look for when I'm looking for a mentor is someone that's got experience. So I thought I'm not giving you my whole CV because it's a little bit boring, but just a little bit of my background, that I was a lecturer at Design College Australia at the beginning of my career. So I was quite young then. I was about 25. And then recently I've been a sessional academic at Queensland University of Technology, teaching image production, typography, and tech. And then I've been running workshops. Oh gosh, I couldn't even count how many workshops I've run for over 12 years, mentoring for the last 4 years, and then been an artist for my whole career. Next slide, please, Maya. And a few things that I'm hoping to offer when I'm mentoring at Mastrius. So I'm really open to teaching whatever the group needs to learn, but the things that I am particularly good, obviously I can't teach how to use oils because I've never used them. So I thought it'd be quite important to show you what I can teach. And if there is something that's like, oh, do you know how to teach? I will happily say, no, I do not. I do not know how to teach that. So ask me and we'll go from there. But the few things that I'm quite good at and I'm more than happy to teach and have a lot of experience teaching are stencils and the use of spray paint. When people think of spray paint, they think of like graph writing and like these big, murals done with spray paint. But I use spray paint on every small artwork that I do. So incorporating spray paint into your other mediums as well. So a couple different spray paint techniques, how to use the caps, how to choose the caps, what materials to use, all that type of stuff. Also murals or large scale. So if you're looking at even upscaling your canvases, paste ups, I showed you a paste up a little while ago, business development and content development. I'm insanely organized, usually when I'm not in a cab, and and great at helping artists whose brains tend to be a little bit here, there, here, there, here, there. And I'm great at, honing that into a plan and putting a plan together to move forward. Imposter syndrome. So I've done a lot of research around it. I've done a few talks on imposter syndrome and how to overcome it. And then accountability. Oh, that is when I'm looking for a mentor myself, accountability is the number one thing. So those are a few of the things that I can offer. Next one, please, Maya. And that's me. Again, proof. I do paint. Are there any questions from anyone?
Yeah, let's open up.
Stencils, just for large murals, are you actually using them in every aspect of your art?
I do use them in every aspect of my art, but there are parts of my murals where I don't use the stencils. So generally, I find the stencils fantastic for murals when I've got to paint a large face. If I tried to draw that large scale, it would be all skew-if. So with a stencil, I'm guaranteed that the proportions are correct. I mathematically work it out first, and I project it up and draw it up and cut it out in my air-conditioned studio. And when I bring it out to site, I roll it out and spray it, and I know it's going to be perfectly what I told the client it was going to be. Yeah. And then when it goes down to canvases, often I use textural stencils on canvases. Sometimes I paint in a stencil style. It depends on, what outcome I want from it.
Awesome. Any other questions, Leanne?
I didn't know spray paints came with different caps. Where do you get those?
Good question. Normally you can buy caps wherever you buy your spray paints. So the brands that I use, Montana is actually a German brand. So when you go online and order directly from Montana, they'll have a supplier in Canada and a supplier in the States. You can order caps at the same time. So each can will come with one cap, but I strongly suggest having a play with a variety of different sizes. And they come in some bizarre configurations. You can get one that you put on the can and you spray it, and it's got this little tube that comes out, and it's got like 4 different caps
Oh,
at the
yeah.
top, so you can get like that spray of 4. It's
Yeah.
sure.
I did my first, my second actually, and we did a little bit of the spray and all that with the mural, and like figuring out all that caps stuff. I have no idea. I'm like, I just buy them and I just start painting, right? Yeah, no, and they get plugged, and then you have to have a ton of them so you can keep switching them, and yeah, it's a different medium, and it's interesting to learn, no, about all these things that nobody tells you that exist.
That's it.
Are your murals water-based or oil-based spray paint?
All water-based. Everything's water-based. Yeah. And a lot of the murals that I create, particularly because I'm either creating them in public where there's people walking past, or I'm creating them in schools where there are students standing there, and or even students using the spray cans, I use water-based, low odor, low VOC spray cans. So they're the healthiest of the not healthy cans.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it means that if it gets on school uniforms, it may come out. But yeah, I much prefer to use them. But the different caps, going back to what you said, using a different cap is like choosing a different brush.
Yeah.
So you might want that flat, full coverage. So you choose the long, thin brush, and there's a cap for that too. Whereas you might want fine little lines, and there's a cap for that too. So it's almost like matching the two.
Mm-hmm.
And are the caps like they only fit the Montana? I bought a few cans of Liquitex spray paint. I don't know if they sell caps. That's interesting.
Yeah, Liquitex do. Liquitex, they're a great brand, particularly for art and craft supplies, because they're quite expensive, which means that for a mural it would really blow the cost out. But they're fantastic for art. They've got their own caps as well, I believe. I'm pretty sure they do. But yeah, what was I going to say? I was going to say, yeah, no, they're fantastic. Where did you buy the Liquitex from?
The States. I think Dick Blick. I had them shipped. I'm in Canada, but I had them shipped. I'm just 10 minutes from the border in BC.
Okay.
So had them shipped to Blaine. That my husband just drives across and gets my art supplies. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect.
it is perfect. Yeah. Yeah, I'm lucky to be close to the border. Other Canadians are paying much more for their art supplies than I'm paying if they can't get to a border, because they're just expensive up here compared to what you can pay for in the States. Yeah.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And Nova Paint, I don't know if anybody else has used Nova Paint, but I've heard a lot of artists are using Nova acrylics, and they're probably a quarter the price of the other name brands, and just as good. They're more like a soft body, which I like. And that's a mural company in California, and they make their paints for mural artists, but they come in big containers, and that big thing would cost the same as a little tube as golden. So
wow.
but if you want it shipped to Canada, it almost ruins it, because the price of shipping, everything's too much.
Yeah.
Duty, all the things that'll hit you. But I can just drive across the border and bring it home. So I'm fortunate. I should make a trip in a station when I get to Calgary and supply you guys, right?
Yes, please.
It's amazing how where your supplies come from have such an impact on your practice as well, because I know during COVID, I still had mural work to do during COVID, and because there's no one in Australia manufactures spray paint, so we couldn't get spray paint to Australia, and there was just none. There was no black and white spray paint anywhere in Australia. So I was like, oh no, what do I do? And then there are other brands of like house paint that I used to use for murals, and we couldn't get them because they were manufactured overseas. So I started using the only Australian house paint brand, because it was the only colors I could get. And lucky it's a phenomenal brand, and I've used it ever since. But it plays such a huge role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. There's one brand here. I don't know if you can get it over there. It's Loop, and a lot of artists I've seen using them. And so I started buying the Montana ones and those ones. And loop is half the price. So I was like, oh, okay. Switching. Yeah.
Never heard of it. Loop, L-O-O-P?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, heard of it. I'll look at it.
Yeah, it's a great brand for murals as well, and it's long lasting, so the color doesn't fade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're over in Australia, Sarah. What time is your group going to run?
It is running 9 till 10. They're just in Australia. Yeah.
Mountain
What time
time,
is it there?
it's 5 to 7.
Oh, so normal time for us,
5 to
usually
7.
like evenings.
Yeah.
And morning for you, Sarah?
Yeah, it's like 10 till 11 or 9 till 10.
12.
Half of Australia.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I've heard of some overseas groups that the time is really awkward when over.
I would have said no.
Yeah. Yeah.
At 2 a.m.
Yeah.
falling asleep.
Yeah. It would have been hard to get people signed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're a real night owl.
Yeah, we're starting on October 16, every third Monday of every month. And yeah, like I said, Pacific Mountain Time 5 to 7, East Time is 7, and what is this? What is BST is your time? Is Australia
My
time?
No, AEST is my time, Australian Eastern Standard.
So BST is somewhere in Australia, like maybe Sydney, somewhere.
No, Sydney's
because
ADST. It's so confusing.
So confusing.
And Sydney just went into daylight savings too, like last week.
Because it says 12 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Oh, whoever is at that time probably won't be joining.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe in the UK, Maya.
I guess I don't know what that means. BST.
I don't either.
Sorry,
but they're probably not joining because it's 2 a.m.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Sarah, do you want to talk a little bit about
British time?
business?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. About the business side of it, of your leadership? Like what would you teach people that way?
So I've not been to university to understand business itself. So the last 20 years has been a matter of me, working my way through, doing courses, understanding, being mentored myself on how to run a successful business. So some of the things that I would touch on would be the financial side of things. I know of a few artists that have gotten into trouble with tax, so not putting away tax, things like that. How to price your work in an effective way. So pricing your artworks so that you're making a good profit. Pricing your murals, which is a really big topic at the moment. Whether you price per meter or per square meter, or whether you price per hour. So talking about pricing to run a profitable business, talking about things like marketing and content creation, so that the world might be one thing that you're creating amazing art, but if no one's seeing it, it's really difficult to sell it. I don't talk too much about galleries. I have worked with galleries in the past, and for me, I've chosen not to go with galleries. But what I would then teach on the other side is potentially setting up your own sales channels. So whether it's working on your own website and looking at a website from a target market perspective. So, when someone goes to your website, what's the first thing you want them to do? Is it to make a sale? Is it to sign up to a workshop? Is it to join your mailing list? And then working on branding yourself in a way that when your target market comes to your site, they do their call to action. They do what you ask them to do. Then also narrowing down your target market. So for me at the moment, my target market for my artworks and for my prints are women between the ages of 35 and 55 who are newly divorced. which is very specific. But probably the last 5 sales have been newly divorced women in that age bracket, and they seem to really connect with my artwork. So for me, I have like a little target market card with a lady's face, and I have like, she's got her own name and everything. So working through that as well, and how to market yourself on social media, and adding those calls to action and making it as easy as possible to make sales, and as easy as possible for people to get their hands on your services, basically, if you're doing murals or workshops. Does that help?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
The business side of thing is so broad, isn't it? And it's yes. I think it's a matter of looking at what the artist is doing now and what can be improved on, because everyone's got a starting point. So I think it's being creative about it too.
Yeah. And it's like you said, that part of where you're at right now, and it's like, okay, I'm working on this. Can we and it gives ideas to other people. Like when I come, it's like, hey, I'm doing this, I don't know, selling prints. Like, what can I do to sell more prints? And so people are like, oh, so what are you doing exactly? Like, how are you printing? Where are you printing? How, like, what's the whole process of that? You have, I don't know, in stock, or like it's on demand? How do you do all that? And so, it's interesting.
And things like drop shipping, which I think is fantastic as well, because who doesn't love passive income?
I know.
I feel like that's every artist is building their passive income in the background.
Yeah.
I don't know
and we should do at all.
I don't know what drop shipping is.
So drop shipping is where, for example, you design a range of prints and you love them and people love them, and you're like, I'm going to sell these as open edition prints because everyone loves them. So you can actually, there are online companies such as Printify and Gelato, and there's a whole range of them. Those are the two that I use. And you can set your prints up on their website and then integrate it into your website. So if you've got a WordPress or a Wix or a Squarespace, and it pops up onto your shop. And so when someone orders it, they click, yes, I'll take that, and I'll take it in that size. Order, the money goes straight into your account. The order goes directly to the printer without you doing anything. The printer prints it, ships it, and you just have the money in your bank.
Wow.
It sounds like magic, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's the most exciting thing when it happens.
Yes.
But if you can get enough momentum, if you've got some work, and it's not just prints, it's, things like I've done a workbook that I designed, and that's done the same way. It's set up with Gelato, and a sale goes through and I just get the money and the book's printed and sent off to them. And so, and nice. You do it with t-shirts and tea towels and phone cases.
Way to go, Maya.
Yeah.
A little
so
bit
it's a great way to set up passive income.
Yeah. There's another company called Art of Wear, and they do tote bags and scarves, and it's drop shipped if you want. They'll send them to you if you wish, but they do the drop ship too. I don't use it, but I have friends that do. And
I just printed, I don't have it here, but I just printed a blanket of one of the ones that I sell the most, like the Frida, but I need to do the whole video and like, ooh, people, look at this, it's awesome.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Good work.
Cool.
Yeah. Any other questions, anybody? We talk a little bit about murals, street art, abstract. What else that comes in your heads? I don't know. I feel like so you'll do all. Well, you talk about helping some of us when we're in the group to do some of the critiques and like some of that. Like just helping with the work and how to maybe improve on certain things. I think that will be really good.
So I think when people sign up and we get the form and they fill out what they're looking to learn in this group, I'll collate some projects that we can work on together. And much like the other Mastrius classes, I'll set the project for the month, and everyone will go away and work on it. And I'll teach what I know about it, but encourage you to be as creative as you can, and then come back and we'll critique how you went over that month within that monthly meeting.
Will it be an artwork kind of project, or will it be maybe learning one of these skills that you're talking about, or the imposter syndrome thing, or that type of thing, or just whatever the group needs?
That last one, yes. I was like, yes, it will be that one. Yes, it will be that one. Yes, it will be that one. All of them. I think it's very much going to be what the group needs, and which direction the group needs to go. And I'm extremely transparent in everything that I share. I'm not the type of artist that, I don't think any of the mentors on Mastrius are like this, but no, it's mine. I'm not sharing it. Only I'm going to know about this. I'm open to sharing everything. And if that means that, 1 week, maybe, half the group are really struggling with imposter syndrome and really having a hard time, getting any work done because they're just too much in their brain, then maybe that's the month that we work on that. And, I think it would be really good because as far as I can see, there's not anyone else really teaching spray paint.
No, I don't think so.
Or stencils on Mastrius. So I think it would be really good to teach that technique. Mm-hmm. So it might be the first month could be creating a stencil, and the assignment could be prepping your stencil and cutting it out ready for the next month's class. And then the next month we could then spray it, and we could potentially spray it all together if everyone's got a spray can with them, which could be a fun class and messy.
Yeah, we'll see. Because I have tons of spray paint, and it's just like when I'm outside, because in the basement I can't do that.
Yeah, or we'll send Judy around with her trailer of spray paint, handed out to everyone.
Yeah. Might be good business for me.
I think it could be, Judy. I think the group will be quite fluid, and it will be very much dictated by who's in the group. And because it's my first time mentoring at Mastrius, what I've mentored in the past, it's been the groups of people have come together, so they were already in the same space, whereas with Mastrius, the first time where it's been individual artists coming together. So I think it'll be quite fluid and working with the group.
Yeah, I had sorry I have a few people asking about demos, if you would do demos in the class, if anybody ask, because they would, some of them, I guess some of these Meet the Mentor have been demos, people painting and doing what they do, but they were asking about demos in class.
Definitely. I love doing demos. I won't lie, I'm a little bit nervous about setting up 2 cameras, but that's going to be the only speed hump I see. But yeah,
we can practice before.
Yeah, we'll have lots of practice.
than moving from a taxi to your studio.
Yeah.
And I was feeling pretty car sick in that car too. I was getting a little bit,
That would have been a first too, to have somebody be sick on it.
Yeah, I would have definitely gotten lots of views afterwards.
Oh yeah.
They might have cut it.
Oh no, that's a definite yes to the demos. I think it's really important. And being a visual person myself, and then I'm guessing mentoring visual people, I think it's really good to physically show rather than just kind of like, you kind of go like this and it's just so won't work. So they're definite demos.
Yeah. Awesome.
Any other questions?
I have any more questions? Judy, you're good?
I am, yes. Yeah, I'll tell you where I'm coming from. I just want demos. So that, I've been with quite a few mentors. Some of it, like David Langevin, does a demo each time. I'm just not wanting anything about business, which of course it is about that. So I understand that. So it's always a dilemma for me finding a mentor that is going to demo every time, because it's all I'm there for. I'm just there for technique. you know, I'm old, if you haven't noticed, and I've done it all. I've done all that stuff. I'm just wanting to learn newer techniques and a more fun way of painting than I was accustomed to doing, more realistic in pastels. I don't want to do that, but I don't know how to free myself. I don't know how to do all these sort of things I'm enjoying on Instagram looking at. So I'm just there for demos. So that, you know, that's just being totally honest. So my problem is if I get into a group and the majority want, then I would have to drop out. And I have dropped out of a couple for that reason, because, you know, $100 a month is $100 a month, right? You're not going to pay it just because you love everybody. And I always do. I love everyone in the groups.
Yeah, it's hard to leave a group when you.
Yeah.
I know it is. Yeah.
Feels like breaking up.
Yeah, it is. And you know, I've navigated groups, and when people have left because, you know, well, maybe it's over 6 months and they have to do other things. It's like, no, we love being with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really great when you get a group like that.
Yes. And finding like Marjorie May, I navigated her and she demoed every time, is primarily demos. So, you know, I'm looking for that. So for me, I question, you know, before I go in, and then it can change because the group wants something else. And fair enough, they're all young people. They want that and they need it. I get it.
Well, I'm old, Judy, and I'm starting to think I maybe need to learn some business stuff if I ever want to sell my paintings. So.
Leanne, you're a baby.
You'd be surprised.
Okay, but I can see you're pretty young. Yeah. If not, you look good.
Thank you. I always think we should tell people we're 98, and then we can always hear, wow, you look fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to do murals, Sarah, before the pandemic, and I quit because I wanted to I was tired of doing commissions, but I think it would have been more fun with a spray paint. I didn't know how to do that. So, and it was just usually kids' bedrooms. It wasn't big commercial things. So, but man, it would have been helpful to know you 20 years ago.
Yeah, I like doing murals just with acrylic paint would have been tough, like time consuming.
Yeah, I charged by the hour because I didn't know ever how long it would take. But then the downside is the client usually wanted me to stop before I wanted to stop because I wasn't happy with it, but it's their money, so I guess that's as good as it's going to get.
Right.
I didn't have a real method like you do. It was pretty much winging it every time. But I don't. I live in a small town. It wasn't big business like you do.
Oh, Leanne, I feel like we're all winging life, aren't we? We're all just winging it and pretending that we know what we do. Yeah. No, I think I'm the opposite of how you worked. I do per square meter and I am fast. I do not like being in the sun. So I'm on site, off site.
Yeah, that's good.
So if I got paid per hour, we'd all be in trouble.
Well, you make good money then that way. Whereas mine wasn't great, but it was a fun job. And so
it might be a new thing for you to get back into, get some spray paint and
charge. Well, yeah, I was thinking, man, if I had spray paint, it would be a little easier, but I really don't want to do commission stuff anymore. I want to do what I want to do on canvases. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah. You could even apply for street art festivals. So the street art festivals, you submit your design, so you can do whatever you want, submit your design, and if it gets chosen, you paint it. So that's one way to not have to paint what clients want. I almost put a slide into my deck that said, it was the reason why I quit doing so much graphic design, and it was a client saying something like, oh, just make the logo a bit bigger, just a bit bigger, make it pop.
Can you move it a tiny little bit to the left? Oh no, now can you move it to the right? And like, oh,
make it bigger, make it bigger.
Yeah, is it center? It's something. Yeah.
And I like how this video is going to go up online and all our old clients are going to be,
Is she talking about me?
Oh goodness. No, clients are great. They pay the bills. We love you, clients. Oh, so that's interesting. So one of you wants to do technique and one of you wants to do business. That'll be interesting.
I'll be honest, I'm not joining your group because I'm in too many groups, but I'm interested and maybe someday.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're always learning.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm in one and navigating one, and I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, well, only if I know I'm going to go into it and learn something that I'm not able to do yet. That's just where I'm at. And how many have you got right now signed up, Maya?
I checked a couple of days ago and it was still one. So, and have you got the form from them yet, Maya?
I haven't yet. I don't even see our group.
Oh.
Well, you know, I think Mastrius develops people like I started off, this was a hobby, something I wanted to not make a business 2 years ago, but now I'm thinking I want it to become a business. And I think there's quite a few people in Mastrius who maybe have advanced and maybe started off wanting to learn painting and have now need to learn the business end of it. So you'll probably get people in your group.
Yeah, I think if we do, like they're gonna do this and edit it nicely, but then maybe you and me, Sarah, we can do some Instagram live later before the 16th, so we get people in and we talk about all those things.
That's a great idea. And Judy, I did tell you that I would be in touch with you before the group started, so I could let you know whether it was going to be demos or business or
right. Yes.
So I will do that once I've had a look at the forms.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Well, I hope you get lots of people. It sounds like it'd be a really good group.
Well,
I hope so too.
Yeah. Well, the one I just started navigating with Val Allen. It's for artists that she's been teaching anyway in Michigan. So I call it Team Michigan because that's what it is, you know. So yeah, so I don't know, maybe get in touch with some of the people in Australia that have shown interest in having a workshop. Have you I guess you've probably sent out invitations to any past people, yeah.
Yeah, I might send another e-newsletter this weekend and see if anyone's interested again and just make it the focus. My newsletters are very newsy, so maybe I'll just do one news item.
Yeah, mine too.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Does anyone know what happens if no one, hopefully they edit this out of the video because this is just general chat now. What happens if the date comes and goes and we don't have enough for a group? Do they then pick later dates?
We defer a month.
Yeah.
Oh, good. So you don't get kicked out or anything.
No, you're there forever, waiting for a group.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And, you know, with new people, it often takes a while for people to kind of get to know you. I think once people start watching this recording, it's sometimes momentum builds really slowly. But once people are up and running and we start talking about, oh, this great mentor we had, then everybody wants them. So,
okay.
So don't be discouraged if nobody signs up for a little while.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I had few other masters that didn't get any, and they defer a few times, and then we got in.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It'd be good to have more time to market it as well. Like I feel like when we picked the dates, it was still 3 months, and I was like, "That's plenty of time. We'll market this. It'll be fine." And then, oh my gosh, it came around really quickly.
Yes,
that's the story of my life.
Like every deadline ever. Yeah,
it's mid-October. Like what happened?
I know.
Crazy.
Run.
Well, I have to go, ladies. Thank you. It was very nice to meet you, Sarah, and good luck with your group. It sounds like it'll be wonderful.
Thank you so much for coming. You made my day.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to go too. It was really fun chat with all of you guys, and I hope you get a lot of people.
Yeah,
thanks, Judy.
You have so much to offer, especially for the younger artists. You've got so much to offer. I wish I knew people that were, looking
Well, if
for-
we run across any in our groups, we can send them your way.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah.
I'll
All
let
right.
everybody know too.
Yeah.
Bye, girl.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
all the
Bye,
best.
ladies.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.